The last time this time is going to be done by Brian.
Last time on Shadows of Gradiriel. Shit happened. I honestly don't remember where we started. But I do know that it eventually ended with us arriving in the settlement of Jezar, where we learned a little bit more about Silver's past, or specifically Locke did, because he'd kind of been deliberately keeping himself out of the loop when it comes to that, because he was, essentially, by his own admission, scared of prying into the backstories of his companions again, because last time that happened, Riven left, and he didn't want that to happen again. So bit of a nice roleplay moment, and the group was getting ready to head off for the island on which Muzuchad is on. Muzuchad being another city, with the intention of finding yet another shrine of Dahlia's to fuck it up to weaken her influence, so that our big main antagonist, this freaky princess of dreams or whatever, can stop being such a gigantic pain in our asses. I would give a much more coherent and cinematically and narratively fulfilling recap, but I honestly do not remember where we started last session, so I'm just going with what I remember.
But where we started on that was the battle against the mad scientist, where you absolutely obliterated him because of a slow spell.
Oh yes, that's right. Where I actually used my brain and strategized, as I seem to do a lot.
Didn't Silver do like a shit ton of damage as well?
Oh yeah. You critical hitted him with a smite, and it was wonderful. You hit him for like 76 in one hit or something.
Fucking paladins, am I right?
Yay!
Fucking paladins and fucking rogues.
Also, at the end of last session, Silver went and visited a graveyard to confirm that her friend was buried there, and he was. So, we ended last session with her coming back to the inn so that you guys could rest, and then we were going to open up next session with you guys finding a way to charter a boat or get a boat of some sort so that you can make your way up to Muzuchad. And as luck would have it, Silver, having grown up in this town, knows that
knows the way to the dock.
Yep, you know the way to the docks, and you know that more often than not, in the earlier part of the morning, the sailors would often sort of collect and wander around a specific inn and tavern that is on the other side of town, closer to the docks. The tavern that you guys were in previously was the one closer to the front. So
we go in, we boot open the door, and be like, "Who wants to take some wanted people over to an island?"
That strikes me as a bit of a bad way to phrase that.
I don't think
it was a joke.
Yeah, I would hope that you would not do that.
It's a joke. I would never put the party in that much danger.
At least not that blatantly, anyway.
True.
So at least part of that we can actually use. If Silver leads the way to
I'm fine with Silver leading the way.
Yep. Once everybody gets up and is ready for the morning, because you have to wait for Locke because he's a late riser.
Yes, I am.
4 p.m. Rise and shine.
Actually, this is where Silver kicks in the door. She kicks in his door.
What? That should fucking suck. Huh? Silver, what did my door ever do to you? What?
Oh, evil has no rest. Come on, get up.
I mean, gets up and follows you out, grumbling to himself all the way.
So, once Locke has been awakened, you go to the docks, and you head to the inn, which I actually got a name for it. I didn't get a name for the previous inn, but that's fine. So you make your way to the inn, the more commonly a sailor's inn, known as the Silent Seal.
Silent Seal.
Yes, that. And Silver, you are used to this, but as you are coming up, it is clear that this particular inn is very busy in the morning. And
Yes.
walking in, you would have all manner of sailors and people scattered here, yonder, and about.
Okay.
How often did Silver interact with the sailors in this town when she was like? Did she ever really get on a boat?
No, she has not.
Okay. I know that at the very least, Locke, vast majority of the party has never been on a boat. The only one that I could reasonably say might have been on a boat before would be Young, but Oak never was, Locke never was, Cad never was, and now Silver never was.
Yeah, I mean, she was in like kind of the other part of town, like where
Yeah.
they stayed, where near that tavern.
Yeah, precisely. You were further away from the dock, so you never really got on the boat very much. Yay! Everyone's getting their sea legs for the first time on this adventure.
Oh boy,
Everyone, roll nausea.
Constitution.
Something like that, yes. But you're not on the boat yet.
If you stay near me, you get a +4.
Yay! So if we roll in that one, I'm sorry, I'll throw you a gold to get cleaned up.
Yeah, don't do that. That'd be bad. This is when you throw up.
Something projectile vomit from a trunk. Anyways, go ahead.
You throw up.
It can't go from a trunk.
You throw up outside of the boat, not towards your party members.
I'm joking. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so you have all manner of people inside this tavern. Sailors and sailors of various races and other such things. And towards the front, talking between each other, you see based on sort of their garb and the way that they're dressed, you sort of get the mindset, at least those of you who would have any discrepancy of what a story like a sailor would look like. You essentially have the captains. There's two of them because there's two ship crews in here, which is a lot of people, by the way. There's two ship crews captains that are talking to each other at the end of the or at the bar. You have a high elf with long silver hair and a gnome with like scruffy ginger red hair, both of which are male.
Let's go with the gnome. That's gonna be a crazy ride.
So they seem to be in discussion with each other, and off to the side you see there is what appears to be a somewhat androgynous, hard-to-tell male or female human that's off to the side who seems to be playing with a deck of cards and's got people around them. Not quite sure if they're
a bunch of money.
Not quite sure if they are playing a game or like a actual card game, or if it's like some sort of something akin to a magician's act. And then also in another corner of the room, you see a very large half-orc. You at first think he's perhaps a full orc or like a Goliath because he's very, very large, but his features betray that he's more half-orc. His tusks ain't quite as long and defined as a traditional orc, and his skin's a different shade like a typical half-orc. He's just very, very large. And he has a big, broad shoulders with a bear tattoo on his left shoulder, and is very scarred. He looks like he's gotten into a scrap or two. Yeah. So, who wants to approach where? I mean, Silver's leading the pack, so.
In passing, is there any way I can overhear what the two captains are talking about? Just in passing?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Getting closer to the two captains, you hear them discussing their next shipment. The gnome is going to be heading mostly west towards Eonora, and the elf was going to be heading more north to a continent that uses a very short and very simple name, Iban. And Silver, roll history or wisdom, whichever one would be technically higher for you. Silver.
Okay.
And do it with advantage because you had something relatively recently that reminded you of this place.
Neither is higher than the other, so.
Yeah, either one, and roll it with advantage.
16.
Yep. Iban is the name of the continent that was mentioned by the little item that Ulara had.
Oh, the Dragon Island.
Yep, the dragon and frost giant continent.
Yeah.
That is Iban. So yeah. They're both going to be heading and making their way here soon. The gnome who's heading west, he's going to be heading out in the next couple hours, while the one that's heading north is going to be heading out tomorrow. And he has a much longer trek because Iban is way north.
Right.
But yeah, and they're in tight discussion with each other. They don't really seem to be noticing the bulk of the group, though some of the more the people that were like hanging out at the game table with the one human person have sort of turned to look at the new people that have walked in particular the fact that you have a Loxodon in your party. But yeah, the captains seem to be in most sort of conversation. They seem pretty friendly with each other, if a bit like friendly rivals.
Okay.
And in particular, the gnome was upset because he had heard that recently in Eonora, that apparently there was some sort of like missing heiress or something from one of the countries in Eonora, or one of the settlements in Eonora, and supposedly said heiress got away via a ship, and he's kind of worried that might have been something that he did by mistake. But yeah.
So, wait.
In other words, the heiress there. What's that? Sorry.
There was someone that ran away, and he thought they might have stowed away on his ship?
Yep. But that's something that happened like several weeks ago, like maybe even a month ago. It's just that was the last time he went to Eonora, so it's made him a little anxious about going to Eonora a second time. But yeah, other than that, their conversation's friendly. Also, sure, roll a wisdom, Locke. So, in particular with his silver hair, the crazy long silver hair, the high elf seems vaguely familiar.
Really?
You feel like you might have seen him around when you were younger.
Oh. That's, I'm going to hide behind Cad. Like, I'm just going to use his colossal stature to park myself behind him.
Okay. Alright.
And refresh my memory, is the High Elf one of the captains?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I would like to rapid-fire awakened mind to the rest of the group. On the off chance we wind up going with either the High Elf or the Gnome for our ship captain, either those two, I vote the Gnome, please. Gnome.
Silver just like turns around and looks at him like, why, is there a problem?
There might be.
Cat shrugs since you're looking at him instead.
There might. Yeah,
I like look around for like she just sits there and like visibly like starts looking around, just like where is he?
Yeah.
Like kind of in the thing, it's like she kind of got a little shocked because like you know how like sometimes you just like you're minding your own business and all of a sudden just a fly flies in your face and you're like what?
But yeah, you find Locke pretty easily. I mean, you know he's there, so.
And it'd be like, is there a problem? She's like, okay. Well, what's the problem?
Yeah, that's largely it's just on the off chance that this is an individual from my hometown or whoever passes through my hometown. I'd rather not deal with that. But
Silver
call me
doesn't know
paranoid
anything. Go ahead, sorry.
Let's say, look, call me paranoid if you want, but it's just a precautionary thing.
That's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna hide behind the elephant in the room. And I hide behind the elephant in the room and I stay there.
Alright, so with that in mind, the two captains have sort of finished their discussion with each other, their socializing, and have now took to a bit of food and drink so that the gnome of the two can get ready for his trip later. So you're free to, come up to the bar without necessarily butting into their conversation. If Silver wants to lead the pack to try to talk to this guy.
Oh, how do we want to do this? So far, we're just a group of just standing by the door or something.
Yep, standing mostly by the door.
Just looking weird.
A tad out of place, maybe, but I mean, it's reasonable that you guys could have gotten a table. There's a waitress that's wandering around with food that's, would technically be able to sit you guys down for like a breakfast or something if you didn't eat at the other tavern.
Sure. Draw less attention. I like that.
Yeah. Wait, draw attention?
Less attention.
Oh. I was gonna say, if you draw more, Silver's gonna sit there and be like, okay, who's captains? We want out of this town. What's the game plan here?
I don't know, just ask the gnome if he takes passengers, and if so, she can.
Oak sort of speaks up.
Okay, real quick. Is it called Muzuchad?
Muzuchad. Mm-hmm.
Muzuchad.
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 Muzuchad, whatever. It's fine.
Do we have a coin to pay for passage?
Probably.
I mean, you guys have a decent chunk of coin right now.
Yeah, I got like 155 gold just kind of hanging out. I got 4 silver. Or platinum, excuse me. 4 platinum just hanging out in my pockets.
Okay. Cat, how many do you have? How
What,
much
platinum?
do you have? No, just gold in general.
Well, gold I have 164, but I also have 1 platinum, and 9 silver. Plus you makes 10.
Ah.
Okay.
That was out of character.
Right. Well, how much do we want to pull together to offer?
And Oak speaks up and he's like, I've never really been on a boat to know how much would be a good price, but...
Neither do I.
Come around to drinks and say, so, can we have a ride?
I mean,
Can
can we just ask them what their typical fare is? I mean, imagine that they would
just
have...
something to catch their attention. We don't know if they'll take passengers.
I don't know.
I've never done this before, so...
None of us have. We're all completely blind in this situation.
Question for the voice in the sky. Seeing as my background entails a lot of office busy work, is it possible that I would know various fares? Legal or otherwise, because if it was illegal, it would come to the court. If it was legal, then I would have probably read about it.
Roll history, with advantage, sure.
Alphabets are the bane of my eyes. Okay, there we go. Boop. Never mind.
With a 9,
It costs money.
you remember, in reading the different books when you were the secretary pencil pusher that you were, that it would often be somewhere between, depending on the boat, the boating and who was ferrying it and other such things, it could easily be maybe 10 to 20 gold a person to go on a boat, just for sake of having supplies, and depending on whether or not you were going to help around the ship. And most shipping crews wanted to put the price that high just to keep, you random everyone from riding. Hence
How
why
much is a standard inn? Like to stay a night out?
A decent standard inn is probably like a gold, maybe 3 gold a night, depending, normally.
Okay. So it wouldn't make very much sense if we were just a passenger, if it was going to be a very long voyage, but for a relatively short voyage, about 20 gold a person.
Yeah, somewhere between 10 and 20 gold a person usually, depending on the boat and the person.
So I would, I guess I would convey this message.
20 a night?
No, 20 a head.
Oh.
It's 20 a person.
You're going to be there multiple days.
Yeah, you're essentially paying for the time that you're there, roughly, all in one fell swoop.
So I would sort of mention this to Locke, since he has whisper inside people's brains specifically, so that we don't negotiate out loud with it.
Mm-hmm.
So then he can share that if he wishes.
Right. So just to make sure I heard that right. Sorry, I'm still a little distracted. The basic idea is between 10 and 20 per person.
Generally,
Seems
yeah.
fair.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then it would probably be better to just go with the upper end of that spectrum. So there's how many of us in total?
5.
5.
So we just each throw in 20 for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves.
20 times 5, it's about 100
100.
gold.
Okay.
All right. So 20 gold from all of us if we have that much to spend on an individual basis.
Also, when we got paid before, I can't remember her name, the person with the knickknacks that spoke
Laura.
to keep her company. Yeah. When she paid us, she gave us each a 100 gold satchel, I believe. So,
They're about, yeah.
right? So, I pull said little satchel and put 20 in it and sort of pass it to Locke. So if everyone wants to put it in there, we can sort of present it to them.
We'll drop 20 in there as well.
Basically pass around the hat.
More or less.
Drop in 20. Okay.
I mean, you can go to a car dealership and say, I'm going to pay this much cash, but handing them a briefcase of money is
Questionable.
it's the visual aesthetic.
No.
Well, I mean,
You don't do that at car dealerships. It gets very questionable then.
it's the premise of having the money on hand and to present in front of you to help sweeten the deal, versus you say you have this much and don't have anything to show for it at first. If you're wanting to try to make a deal and seem presentable, you have it in front of you before you say it.
Yep.
Right.
So
I guess Silver just stands up and be like, kind of clueless, and be like, is there any captains in this place?
Everyone in the whole bar turns. Aye.
Shit.
So
Shit.
So
Shit.
if you speak up about that, the gnome and the high elf sort of look back, and the gnome waves and says "I," and the high elf does like a salute sort of gesture.
Ah, okay. I guess she wanders over.
So which one?
Anyone else joining? Huh?
So which one?
Correct.
I
Well,
thought
I
they
guess
were
it-
both sitting next
Yeah,
to each other.
they're pretty close to each other still. You're right. So yeah.
She's just moving closer. Hi, cat. Go away, cat.
There's actually a tabaxi in the corner. It's fine.
Feeling like, yeah, me and my friends are looking passage to Muzuchad?
Muzuchad. Or Muzuchad. Whatever.
Muzuchad. Words.
It's fine. The two of them sort of look at each other and like, well, he's heading north tomorrow, and that's less out of the way, says the gnome. He points to his elf friend, and he's heading north tomorrow, so it's less out of his way to go to Muzuchad, but if you're more in a rush, are you holding the coin purse where it's visible?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, well, if you're in more of a rush and you got some money to spend, I'm willing to take you if you want to head that way. And then the high elf sort of looks past you and sees your party, and he goes,
Oh, no.
He looks past you, sort of sees the party behind you, and he smiles a little bit, and he goes, however, if you want to do it for free, your Loxodon friend can beat my first mate in an arm wrestling match, and I'll let you go for free.
From where they are and from where I am, can I hear this?
Yeah,
Probably.
I possibly have a chance at that as well.
I mean, sure, but my you totally can. It's less about the competition and more about Molotok hasn't really fought a Loxodon before.
She slightly feels a little sad. Okay.
Although
I'll go
a
ask.
although a strong female may be impressive to him. Either way,
But nothing beats a Loxodon.
it's
Here
less
she
of,
goes.
it's less about the challenge itself and more about the fact that Molotok would most definitely want to arm wrestle a Loxodon because he never has.
Bragging rights. I beat a Loxodon.
Bingo. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Or I beat a strong, independent woman.
Bragging rights. We fought a tonsil worm and survived.
Fair.
I made everything better. Oh wait, better or worse?
Yes.
Worse. Anyway.
Anyway, I was like, okay, I would have to go present this to my friends.
No worries. And then the gnome speaks up and he goes, however, I will be, I wouldn't necessarily deliberate too long because I'm going to be heading out in about 3 hours. So,
That's perfectly fine. We should have this figured out within the hour.
he
What
sort of
we're doing,
nods.
so.
Yep.
She makes her way back over to the group. Okay. So, we
The
can go
group
to
would-
the gnome.
The group heard good bits of this for the most part, but not necessarily every little detail. But yeah.
So, we can leave in 3 hours and pay. Or, we leave tomorrow for free if Cat here beats the first mate.
That's.
At arm wrestling.
Yes, at arm wrestling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I was about to start asking some questions. I'm sorry, I zoned out there. I was looking to see if they had donuts here. Apparently they don't, and I am sad.
I have bagels though.
I will have bagels.
They're a bit more.
Tiny bit saltier.
Yeah, they're a bit more saltier.
Let me put it to you this way: until the time comes that we, well, I want to make Locke like a connoisseur of donuts by the time this campaign is over.
Well, that's fine.
You should totally get a cantrip that is specifically conjured.
Yep.
No, that
I mean,
strikes me.
It doesn't fill you.
You know,
It just.
it strikes me that would probably actually be closer to like a first level spell akin to Goodberry.
Yeah.
yeah, probably. Anyway,
If the dungeon master will allow it, though, I'll happily learn that at some point.
anyway,
So, yeah, so what's the choice, guys?
I mean, which
I'm kind of leaning more towards the free ride.
I sort of look expectantly at Locke. I'd say it's more his call, wouldn't it be?
Why? I'm not the one being challenged to an arm wrestle.
But you had reservations about going on that ship if given a choice, so I'd say your choice has to happen before mine. Yeah.
I mean, I'll go on the high elf ship if I have to.
I mean,
You
we
just
have.
will spend your time hiding.
Oaks speaks up and he's like, "Well, we have plenty of gold in theory, so I mean, we could pay, but then again, who was the first mate? Did he say? Which
Did he say the name?
He gave you a name. He said Molotok.
Molotok.
That.
She doesn't know who they are. She
Nope.
just.
It's gonna be the half work.
I mean, that could be the case, but we don't know.
I mean, his name ends in talk, so he's gonna be like some big
Oh,
burp strong.
so does every half orc have to have a talk on the end of it?
No, of course not.
Okay.
So, Young's sort of like, well,
Thinking
I'm
more like river. So,
so
Ribbon.
to be fair, it would be more entertaining and interesting to see the arm wrestling, and in theory, we could try the arm wrestling, and then if we fail, we go with the gnome because we can still pay. But that way, we have something to fall back on, I guess.
Honestly, at this point, we already put the money in the bag, and we want to break Dahlia's things as soon as possible, and I get it, one day isn't going to make a huge difference, but...
but still, it saves us money.
I guess? I'll defer to the group on this one.
So Oak has been like, so, vote for taking the vote tomorrow, raise your hand, or vote for the arm wrestling fight is what we're doing.
I want to see it.
Young wants to see it.
Locke is indifferent.
Well, seeing Locke's opinion and hoping that he would make my choice a lot easier, I sort of reluctantly nod towards Silver, and I guess.
She turns around. We'll do the arm wrestling now.
Awesome.
Who is this Molotok?
That's me, says the half-orc as he rolls his shoulders and comes up this way. Nice smirk on his face.
Oh, you're big. Okay.
Would
Good
it be
luck, Chad.
cheating if I enraged on round 1 of our arm wrestling?
I
Yes.
mean, here's the problem with that. One, Cad raging is very, very, very obvious for 2 reasons. One, he has spectral elephants that he can't control that fly around him, because you can't turn that off. And
They could cheer
2,
me on.
they could. And 2, you, as per your character, you lose
Right,
control
I
of
would-
yourself.
Yeah.
I would not recommend it, but you totally could.
Yeah. No,
Um,
please don't.
Also, I should point out that that doesn't necessarily mean that your partner's not going, your opponent's not going to. You step up to the table with Molotok, big, huge half-orc.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
He sort of cracks his knuckles. Alright.
When we're sort of getting our positioning, I sort of look to Silver and gesture that I want her by my side for encouragement.
She's just like, okay, and like kind of pats him on the shoulder. You got this?
Question mark?
Of course I have it. You're within 20 feet.
Ah.
Coo.
We're saving throws.
It's for saving throws, not for strength checks. But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It might be relevant. I don't know. Shish.
Actually,
I understand what you're trying to do. I can't help you. Good luck.
Actually, it's kind of reasonable because the aura is like, isn't it flavored as like a confidence or some sort or other? What's the name of the aura?
No, you just kind of. Oh, it's a aura of protection. You feel safer.
Yeah.
That's it. You just feel safe.
So I would like to feel safe. You could totally be beside of me. Mm-hmm. If Silver would be willing.
It's like, yeah, she's just there patting you on the shoulder, like, you got this.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Alrighty. So, this would be, of course, a contested strength check. And you sort of step up and you clasp hands to get ready for the arm wrestling, and the high elf is sort of standing above you as the referee of sorts, and does that thing where the referee holds his hand over the pairs and then lets go when it's like 3, 2, 1, go sort of thing. And then he's alright, if you're ready. And Cad, you realize very, very quickly that this guy's grip and the way his hands are, he's a guy that's obviously worked a lot. He's got the whole calluses things going on. He's got a workman's hand.
I have very dainty office worker elephant paws.
Yeah, kinda. You're much softer. But anyway, so strength check, go. That's
Starts
funny.
leaning one away.
So
we want to lead off, as a true arm wrestling thing. We want to lead off not with all of our strength,
Yeah, and I was sort of gonna put this as a contested strength check as a best 2 out of 3 sort of situation.
Okay.
So it will be, he wins the first one. He's got a better grip. You're sort of feeling each other out at this point. So strength check again. Ooh. Alright. So with the 18 versus the 9, you sort of surprise him and you get a good grip and you start leaning the other way. Silver, you're close by? Or anyone else who's watching the thing?
Yeah.
Roll for me perception, and Locke, or anyone who's watching can roll perception.
Give me a second. Okay, perception. 17.
Okay, yeah.
His cool point is out the window, and I'm all caught up in the game. I'm totally focused at it.
Yeah. There is a sort of a flare up of energy, and those of you who rolled at least a 15 on your perception, which was essentially everybody except for Cad,
Yay.
it's almost like his bear tattoo, which is linked to the shoulder of the arm that he's using, almost moves like it's animated, and he's doing this at advantage.
Oh, that's creepy.
So what, I make one more, I'm guessing?
That is...
No, he's making one more.
Yeah, he's.
Okay.
Did you do your? You beat him the second time. Yeah, you would make one more strength. Yeah, you
So
would
I
make
do
one more.
a third one?
Yep, you do make a third one.
Okay.
Okay. So you can hold your own fairly well, but and it's not some like landslide victory where you crashes your hand into the other table. It sort of seems like a mostly fair
Am I
fight.
able to use the point of lucky?
Yes, you can. On yourself or on him?
I'm pretty happy with myself on him.
Okay. Nice.
I prefer that he used the 10.
Which?
Or if it was 16 and 20, then it's now 16 and 10.
Yeah.
But it was
That's
at advantage anyways.
Right. That's the.
Now it's 16 and 10 instead of 16 and 20.
So here's what happens. He's got you in a firm grip, and you sort of you're pushing back and forth. You're sort of evenly matched, and then because of the weight and because of the like strength that he's putting into it, because he's raging, the table sort of clips and breaks slightly, and his elbow gets caught, and he gets like hit with the splinters of the thing, and it messes him up, and then you bring him down.
Does that count?
It will count because that's how lucky work. Lucky is, in my understanding of how lucky works, is
Not what I meant.
I mean, it still counts, yes.
Okay.
Because it didn't.
Like in the context of the world, would that count as a cat having a win, or would they call for a do-over because of outside influences?
I mean, the table broke. It's not necessarily an outside influence. Do you think
Early men moved to the second table to destroy it next.
do you think Molotok is going to admit that he messed up because the table stabbed into his elbow? No.
Pride.
Exactly. So, and if anyone can beat him, it's a Loxodon, so it's fine. Even if that Loxodon was a secretary, but whatever.
A secretary who can turn enemies into mulch with his hammers.
Yep. So, you crash down, you win, and he stands up and... well, to be expected from a Loxodon, I suppose, and he offers your hand to shake. What's your name?
Kaduril.
Kaduril.
I shake his hand.
Molotok. First mate of the grand ship Orcadia. And that is Orcadia, the name of the boat. Boop. And then the high elf sort of smiles and he goes, "Nicely done. So you win a free ride if you're willing to wait a day."
I turned to what was the orc's name again?
Molotok.
Oh yeah, I turned to Molotok and I gestured towards the bar and say, "If you'd like a drink, I'll get you one."
He sort of smiles and goes, "Yeah, sure. Morning ale might do me some good on the ship tomorrow. Well, it'd be mostly gone by the time I would. Whatever. It's fine. Come on."
So if you let me know how much to deduct, I pay for whatever it is that he wanted.
I return.
It would be we'll say 2 gold for an ale for him.
Okay, it's done. Thank you.
What did I miss?
Cat is
Kaduril,
buying ale.
Cat is buying Molotok a drink.
Okay.
If we have a free ride, if we want to take it now.
Nice.
Yep.
Right now, you mean tomorrow?
Yeah. You'll be resting up and getting ready to take the trip tomorrow.
Alright.
And so, are we going to be re-divvying up the gold we put into my satchel?
Yes.
Sure.
Yay! Satchel goes from quantity 0 to quantity 1. Okay.
Alrighty.
I like having random things. Shush.
Oh yeah, you do. It's fine. So with that, there's
I guess we just hang out.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh.
I mean, you
I
can.
guess we just sit there and just like, okay, now what?
I mean, you can socialize with the captain and the first mate, or follow them to see the ship.
Okay. Sure.
I could
Let's
follow
go
it
out
and
and
see
about in a town that Silver's wanted in. Okay.
if they volunteer a tour of their ship or anything like that, since we're not leaving till tomorrow, I would take them up on that and see if there's anything that I might be able to help them on the trip.
Agreed.
Sure.
As
we
an
can do
aside,
that.
I am very tempted to ask Silver what her favorite color is and see what happens from that. 'Cause
Really?
I did that with Riven, and look how that conversation went down.
See what happens with what
Okay.
you worked it out on my end.
They had a
only
very
hold back.
interesting. They had a very interesting planar conversation, all because Locke asked Riven what her favorite color was.
It kind of went to that, yeah.
Yes.
So, oh yeah. Locke, are you staying mostly hidden to keep out of eyesight from the high elf?
Trying. As well
Okay.
as I'm able in this sort of environment. Why?
Roll stealth with advantage because you have an elephant.
Because I have an element. Okay.
Ow.
That's a 17.
Yay.
All right.
Do elves randomly get high advantage on perception checks because elven something?
I don't think they do.
If they do, it's probably against traps or things specifically hidden.
They have
like
advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put them to sleep, but I don't think they get advantage on perception or anything like that. They don't have any specific senses that would give them that.
In 3.5, they had the first two you mentioned, but they would also be told if they came within a certain distance of traps or hidden treasures. or things.
The thing that I was thinking of is the fact that elves, by their racial traits, have proficiency in perception automatically. That's what I was thinking of.
Proficiency, not advantage.
Yep, that's what I was thinking of. So,
Also, oh wait, no, that's for full-blooded elves. I'm a half elf. I don't get that. My bad.
although we did forget something with respects to that, half elves do still have the advantage on charm effects.
I mean, I have that written down on my character sheet, so.
You do, but we didn't use it when you were battling the pest pipers previously. We forgot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Charm comes up so wearily infrequently.
Yeah, it does. So let's see. I'll give him a proficiency of 4. He would have proficiency in it. Wisdom, or wisdom score of 4, so 8.
Oh god.
Okay.
Oh fuck.
So he looks square at the elephant that you could literally see no Locke behind and says, "What about him?" No, not the elephant.
Yeah, that seems about right.
So he's actually going to be talking to Silver more so because he's like, so if you guys are going to be coming aboard the ship and traveling with us for a while, at least to Muzuchad, that's about a week or so away, not too far out of our way. How about you tell me a little bit more about you and your companions then? You seem to be a somewhat well-traveled sort. At least with all the armor and things.
I would say we're kind of more of a band of what, misfits?
Oh, come on, talk us up. Make the GM make you make charisma checks.
Oh lordy. I don't know how well that'll go.
I mean, as long as Silver is not going to be saying anything that is a lie, it could technically be a persuasion thing to make him think that that your party is something sort of impressive. If you wanted to.
So we're all wanted criminals, and you could turn us in and get all this money while we're on your boat and we're helpless.
Well, you just need to turn in one of us.
Take your pick, really.
Speaking
You wouldn't
of,
be greedy enough to fall in, would you?
speaking of,
Oh shit.
so he sort of looks at you for a second and goes, "Wait a minute."
What do you mean? Wait a minute.
You
I mean, we got this. We're
you
just a traveling band.
you start
People
talking.
that goes on adventures.
Yeah, you start talking up your party a little bit, and he goes, "Wait a second. Why do you seem familiar?"
Parlay.
I don't know. I've never met you before in my life.
He sort of looks around for a minute, sort of. He moves closer to you a little bit more conspiratorially, as it were, and he's
She like kind of like gives him like an odd look of kind of like slightly leaning away, like what?
I do believe you happen to be the one on that wanted poster that was outside, at least the tavern out front of town.
Call seeing a wanted poster there. Have you seen a wanted poster there, guys?
Huh? No?
Do I get deception with advantage?
I mean, if you want to, if you want to roll deception with advantage, you totally can. Yes.
Okay, because she's lying like there was no poster there, but there totally was a poster there.
Yeah. Deception with advantage. 20. Well, maybe I was just reading the description wrong. Either way, you seem somewhat familiar, and at least with the way you carry yourself, you seem to be at least somewhat in your element. Have you been on a ship before?
Nope.
Have you been in this town before?
A long time ago.
Right. Well, I only started coming to this. I only started coming to this town maybe 10 years ago, something like that. I don't guess I would have seen you around then. Maybe I heard about you.
She was in this town until she was 13. Yes. And
How
then
long?
she went off to.
How long ago was that?
That would be. Why is my age not in here? She is 20.
I mean, it's fine. So
7 years ago, it was 15.
So yeah, 7 years ago.
So 5-10 years ago when he left, yeah, he might have saw you around then.
Maybe.
No, regardless, he
She
sort of
was an
offers.
orphan, so she just kind of like wandered around and stayed at the orphanage if there's an orphanage here.
Yeah, at least before you started training at the thing.
That's the thing. She was adopted by someone there and stuff, and then.
Gotcha. Okay. He sort of offers his hand out to you, and I am Captain Vomar Dagan, the ship Orcadia.
My name is Ira. Nice to meet you. This is Cad and Oak and Young and Locke. Where's Locke?
Kind of pokes his head out from behind Oak, or not Oak, from behind Cad. Right here.
Huh. I see why you were hesitant to call your team a group of misfits. You're an interesting bunch, that's for sure. Though I can't say much. My ship crew's a motley crew in and of themselves. Either way, you'll fit right in with the band of sorts we have on the ship, so you should be fine. And then he sort of looks back to the gnome and, well, they won the combat and they won the challenge and would prefer to go for free, so I guess they're staying with me. And the gnome was just, well, it's fine. I may have needed the extra gold, but I didn't necessarily need more people on the ship. Mine's not as up to keep as yours is.
I'd like to fish out 10 gold and throw it to him since he was kind enough to entertain our offer in the first place.
Okay.
So I'll throw him 10 gold and thank him. Maybe next time.
You toss him 10 gold, and he's like, huh? What? Yeah. And fails to catch it, and then grabs it later. So, he moves on afterwards. You guys socialize a little bit. You go onto the ship, peruse a little bit. Does everybody go with him to the ship? Or is it just Cad?
Yes. Silver's going.
Sure, why not?
Alright. So you sort of peruse the ship a little bit, and you...
Meanwhile, I'm sort of not in an exaggerated and obviously stupid way, but I'm trying to carry myself like air of confidence and sort of keeping my shoulders up and trying to look like a big tough guy since apparently I have that image with the first mate now.
Yeah, you kind of do. And actually, are you actually confident, or are you faking it?
I'd say I'm fairly confident. I mean, he was fairly challenging, and things went my way. So,
Ego
Okay.
boost.
yeah. But more so, I'm hoping that I can keep their friendship, so that if there is any sort of weirdness between them and Locke later, that maybe the fact that I'm big and burly, or maybe the fact that I'm friendly, or some combination might come to the rescue. I don't know.
Right.
The inner workings of my brain are an enigma. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
what's that horrible smell? Are you thinking again?
Yep.
Anyway.
No.
So,
I don't remember what comes after that.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah. So I am actually trying to carry myself not overacting, but a little bit, so that if someone was paying attention, they'd see that I'm walking around like, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
Whatever.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm a big, strong guy.
All right. Fair enough. So you sort of make your way to the ship. The ship is like, what was it? Not like the Black Pearl, but like it's almost like a pirate ship, but less like unlawful. There's not like black flags. You're not actually riding with pirates. But it's close to ships of that caliber, big masts and sails, and very large boat. And it's sort of docked into the side of the area right now, getting ready to prepare and wandering about the ship. He sort of shows you, since you're going to be spending a week on board at the very least. He shows you like all the different inn equivalent things. He shows you like a little area where you would be eating. Shows you essentially the kitchen, and you guys are presented with in wandering around, and especially going into the kitchen. The ship's cook is a very interesting individual. He is a dwarf, an older, sort of wizened male dwarf, and he, on some level, seems a bit creepy because he's much shorter than even a dwarf, because he's got a hunched back. And he wears his beard in braids, but since he's a cook, he's got it sort of thrown over his hunched back and it's behind him. It sort of sets on the back, on the center of his back, like the mane on a horse. It's kind of interesting. His beard is very long and very fancy and braided. But yeah, you see all sorts of manner of people as you wander around. There is a female human. She seems sort of middle-aged, maybe 30s, 40s. And she seems a bit curious as you guys walk through, and she's like, "What's with the new, are you adding to the crew without telling us, boss?" And the captain, he just looks at her and goes, "Don't worry about it, Ella. We just have passengers for a week. It's fine." And she just sort of shrugs. And you wander about. If you wanted to help Cad, there's means for you to clean and other such things to make a space for everyone to be able to rest on board the ship and things of that nature. But it seems like a fairly peaceful place. All manner of races and people all over the place.
I inquire if there's anything that I can do during our trip that would make anything easier for people.
Oh, also, Locke, you would find it interesting because one of the somewhat hardest working individuals on this ship is actually younger than you are. He is a 14-year-old human boy, and he is just working his butt off to essentially looks like he's trying to prove himself. And yeah, he seems like a sweet kid. He's just working really hard. But yeah, you're not the youngest on board, so huzzah! How about that?
No kidding.
And if you travel around the ship, it's interesting because there's a female half orc, and she, as you come back aboard, there's a bit of an embrace with Molotok. It appears Molotok has a girlfriend or a wife or some such. And yeah. I mean, anyway. Anyway, so with that, you sort of explore the ship. Sort of busy work, akin to the kind of thing that Cad is used to, sort of keeping track of your supplies and keeping the ship clean and other various things. They sort of welcome that a little bit. And all in all, it seems to be a peaceful, sort of laid back sort of a place. And as you guys would be getting ready to head out, I have made a map, a very simple, very crude map for as you guys are as you guys are traveling at sea, as it were. It is very simple, very straightforward. It is this.
Very blue.
Oop, there you are. You have a boat.
Hey, it is blue.
I don't know where everybody's wandered around to, but the boat, of course, is multiple floors and other such things. It's just this map is very specifically the top of the boat, the shore, that sort of thing. I don't know if there's any sort of dialogue that one wants to have with anyone on board. But yeah.
I'm gonna park Locke by the rail to just sort of look out, I guess, for the moment.
Okay. Young is going to be sort of over on this side doing a bit of the same thing. So we'll skip ahead a day, and the ship is getting ready to head out. Early part of the morning, you started to make your way, and as the ship gets going and is in the sea, Constitution checks for everybody because they've not been on a boat before.
I rolled mine earlier. It was a 15.
I'll take it because it wasn't a 20.
Constitution saving throw?
Constitution saving throw.
Wait, did I roll con or did I roll save?
You rolled a con and it wasn't the save.
Yeah, you didn't roll the save.
Oh no!
So yeah, add 3 to that.
So about the same as silver. Okay.
So
same as silver, but 1 less, but not red.
Yeah, silver rolled a nat 1, but still it's a 12.
Oh no!
How do you have? Okay.
I am proficient in Constitution.
Oh yeah, you are.
Oh, I would have had a +4 also, so +7, so 7, 8, 15. Sorry.
Because you're close to silver.
Yeah, she's just like standing off in this back corner, just going like, "Oh lordy."
And then Okay. So, Yong is not near where you are. So, yeah, it's a little bit nauseating, just a little. But because of your crazy high constitution save and the fact that skill checks can't necessarily auto fail. So I was putting it at like a 10 because it's not hard.
She's probably just like leaning on things and be like, just give me some biscuits.
Or bagels. They have bagels because Locke.
Because Locke.
And then all we need is cream cheese, because then we have bagels, Locke, and cream cheese.
So you travel, you travel on the boat for a little while, a couple days. It starts to pass. One thing of note. How well do all of you sleep while on the boat? You rolled decent for your con, so it's not like it's going to make it harder for you to sleep. But it's would you be comfortable sleeping on a boat that has a bed that's rocking constantly?
I'd say on the first couple days, Locke would be having trouble, but he'd sort of get used to it on like the third day.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the same.
That seems reasonable. About the second night, as you guys are, this is going to be in about the second night. Oak is going to sleep relatively peacefully. He actually sort of enjoys the rocking back and forth. And Yong is actually going to stay up a night or two as the ship is going through, because she kind of enjoys watching the water. But those of you who are not quite falling asleep yet, roll for me perception. If you think you did fall asleep, you get perception at disadvantage.
Does my nose get disadvantage?
Roll it straight. And she's actually going to have advantage because of where she's located. So, you guys are below deck when you were sleeping for the most part. Young hears it because she's upper deck. Still, she didn't go downstairs to sleep. Silver, you pick up on it, but Cad and Locke, you don't. You guys don't hear it.
And I'll just park myself right back here and assume that's where my bunk is.
Silver, you hear a sort of soft and gentle singing.
Fuck.
Silver's gonna go investigate.
You go upper deck, and as you get up there, Young's already outside, and she picked up on it too, and she sort of is a little weary, but also confused, because while you guys are used to danger coming from the likes of, stories of sirens on the sea and whatever else, this singing sounds like it's, and she indicates for you, the singing sounds like it's coming from the crow's nest, the top of the ship where they see out.
Okay.
Left.
So,
I mean, I can climb up there, or you can.
I was gonna climb up there.
Okay. Roll me acrobatics. Or athletics, rather.
No.
Athletics is climb.
Okay. I was gonna sit there going like, oh shit. 7.
So you have a little bit of a hard time with the rigging. You get a little
tangled. She's just sitting there being like verbal, like, God damn it.
Yeah. You get a little tangled up in the rigging a little bit, and Young sort of looks up and is like, "Need a little help up there?"
No, I'm fine. I don't know how do they hold. My foot keeps getting caught on these stupid ropes. How can they climb in these things?
And as you're
she's like in armor too, so
yeah. As you're doing so, and you sort of trying to climb and make your way up from above in the crow's nest, the little boy that you've seen wandering the ship, He sort of looks down and is like, huh? What's going on down? What?
Oh, are you on the night watch?
Well, kind of.
Oh. Were you singing?
So we're rolling perception.
Uh-huh. 21, what do I see?
Nice. When you make the question of were you singing, you see him blush and he hides in the crow's nest.
So he was singing?
It's really rather apparent that yes, he was. And he's a bit bashful about it.
I'm gonna make our way up there and just be like...
It takes you a little bit longer because of rigging and things, but you eventually get up there.
How do you climb this thing?
Practice? I don't know.
Practice. Yeah. Well, it doesn't help that I'm in a suit, so she just sits down.
Why are you wearing such heavy armor anyway? I mean, doesn't it make it hard to move?
Yes, but it keeps me safer.
I guess. Anyway, I might have woke you up with
I
my
do
singing.
laugh,
I'm
I do.
sorry. What?
You're fine. It was a rough night. Like, how big is this crow's nest, by the way?
It's big enough to house 2 normal-sized people, generally. So
Okay.
because he is much smaller, being only a 14-year-old, it's big enough space for you. Although the crow's nest does creak a bit because you're in heavy armor. But anyway.
Well, it's not... I don't think it's heavy. I think it's a maxed out medium that she has on.
Well, you're in medium armor.
I'm in medium armor.
Yeah, you're
But
in.
still, it's...
I say
there's
heavy.
metal
I
plates.
say, yeah, I say heavy armor in the sense that your armor is heavy, not that your armor is heavy armor. But yeah,
she has metal plates on her, so...
So he's sometimes when I'm asked to come up here and take watch, I like to practice singing a little bit. I don't know, it's just something I've sort of picked up. Everyone on board, well, most everyone on board knows that I do it every once in a while. Sorry.
Well, most of everyone?
Well, you guys don't. I didn't, like...
Oh.
I mean, you're a
Fair
part
enough.
of the... You're a part of the party of... What, adventuring types or something?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, so...
We're on an adventure right now, so...
Sorry if I disturbed you or anything.
Oh, it's fine. Still getting used to the ship. Do you know how long it's gonna take us again?
To Muzuchad or to where we're going?
Muzuchad.
About a week, I think, is what they said.
Okay. She's gonna sit there and kind of like look out.
Mm-hmm. So
Now that she realized, like,
realize there's no threat?
well, yeah. Just look out
so...
at the sea, then.
So, roll for me perception.
Oh, joy.
11. Not going to be hard to see necessarily, especially with it being nighttime right now, or at least relatively late at night. Out in the water, like on the sort of the cusp of the waves as you're going over them, you sort of see that what looks, for lack of a better way to put it, a kind of like Northern Lights Aurora Borealis effect. There's a place in the water that's bright and almost rainbowy.
Silver kind of points like, what is that?
Huh? Oh. Oh. He sort of gets excited for a second. And he goes, that's the what do they call it? It's a school of fish, and it's a very, like, supposed to be very tasty school of fish. I don't know, but like some of the other
A school of fish that glows?
He sort of shrugs. He's like, I don't know. It's just the cook was talking about it. He was saying that if anyone was ever out here looking out and saw a school of fish that was glowy and rainbowy, that we should point them out so that we could try to catch them because they were supposed to be tasty. I don't know.
Okay, so where's the chef is down below?
Yeah, he's probably down
wait?
below.
Okay. It's like, I guess Silver kind of like starts making her way down.
Yep.
Do I need to make another athletics check?
To not fall or get stuck in the rigging? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No.
Do I fall and then all of a sudden I just like my foot gets caught in the rope and I'm like just hanging there like a foot off the deck like, oh lord.
No.
I'd say more like a cartoon physics moment where there's a silver-shaped hole in the deck.
No, actually. Dexterity save of 23. You go falling straight down from the deck, you're like, ah! And Young dives and braces you against the ship so that you don't, like, break it or hurt yourself.
Oh, how much damage do we take?
We'll say a d6.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's not that high up. The 3.
Okay.
But you didn't break the ship, that's the important part.
Right.
Ow!
Ow!
Are you okay?
Why'd you jump in the way?
So that you wouldn't hurt yourself more or the ship. I don't know, it was a reflex. And she sort of gets away
but
from...
now you're hurt too. Ow.
I'm gonna get some rest anyway, it's fine.
I gotta go find the cook.
Find the cook? What?
Yeah.
Now, I would like to point out that the fish were a decent ways out, and the ship was sort of traveling in that general direction, but it's not like you're going to... It's not like they're right next to the ship. There's going to be some time before you're in potential range to cast out nets and try to catch them and things. It's also relatively late at night. But anyway, so you go down below deck to try to find the cook.
Sure.
Alright.
She doesn't know.
So you go down below, go down to the kitchen. You find that the cook he seems to be starting to get things together for the breakfast early. He seems to go to try to make it a little earlier, or perhaps he just doesn't sleep as much. And he sort of sees you come in and he's, early riser too?
I haven't really slept. Do you have any? Well, do you have any biscuits?
He sort of looks and here, biscuit.
She takes him like nods on it and be like, 2. Glowing fish?
Really? You actually see them out there this time.
I think we're heading in the direction of them.
Nice. Okay. Cool. If it's a large enough school, it could feed this ship for several days and save us on our rations quite a bit.
I don't know how far out they were.
Well, where'd you see them from?
Crow's Nest.
You're up there with Rowan, huh?
Well, someone was singing and we went to investigate. I fell on my friend.
That's what that thump was. Okay. Well, it's fine. Let's see. We'll get some stuff together and we'll send a crew out there. Molotok will definitely be able to sort of handle bringing the fish in. We just got to get somebody to wake him up.
I don't know, like when, or will we be there when everyone wakes up?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that he gets the crew together. You sort of waking up earlier part of the morning. Anyone who's willing to come up and help, such as Cad, with decent strength. And in the earlier parts of the morning, you guys are collecting fish via net. And
You know what? I'll have Locke help by chucking low-powered eldritch blasts at fish to kill them here so that they don't resist being acquired.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey, Locke helps in his own way.
You do that,
and it also fulfills one of my patron's things where he wants me to show off his magic without showing him off. So it's a win-win.
Nice. So you sort of get the fish you sort of get the fish prepared and get things going, and you fire off eldritch blasts, and like everyone in the ship crew sort of looks to you, is like, the fuck, what? And they sort of shake it off. Molotok seems to be kind of impressed seeing the magic, and it's you collect the fish and you have a nice, warm, lovely meal for your breakfast. Sort of translucent scaled fish. They got some bioluminescent thing going on that makes them all rainbowy.
So does it like stain our mouth and our tongue changes colors randomly now?
No. But it's but it's very tasty. So who all eats the fish?
Depends if it smells fishy.
Of course it smells fishy, it's a fish.
Oh no.
Those who want to eat the fish will be rolling con saves.
Now wait until they're cooked.
Well, yeah, obviously. The cook is going to cook them.
Whale.
What is your 16 perception for there, Locke? Oh,
It was how they smell.
the 13.
Oh, those cats.
Yeah. And then I need an oak.
He was asking what the perception check above was. That was at advantage. I wanted to see if they smelled fishy.
They do smell fishy.
Okay. Fishy in a bad way or fishy in a fishy way?
Fishy in a fishy way.
Fishy in, I guess you could kind of get this from smell.
They are fish. They smell fishy. Don't overcomplicate it, buddy.
No. What I'm giving him is they smell as if they're fish that sort of stay. They're like deep sea fish that only come higher up in the water, seldomly.
So they smell oceanic.
Yes,
Gotcha.
pretty much. I mean that's kind of obvious, but yeah.
The ocean.
So yeah. So we have an 8 from Oak, a 5 from Young, 13 from Cad, 12 from Locke, and 13 from Silver. Okay. So yeah, you guys continue to go about your day as normal, and there's a moment where Oak sort of has a bit of a...
He has an accident.
No, he starts yelling as if he thinks there's undead on board, but there's none.
The fuck?
Oak, are you okay there, buddy? Locke is gonna use detect magic.
Nope, nothing magical that you can see.
Oh, great. Our druid has completely lost his mind.
Not druid.
Whatever.
He is a druid.
Cleric.
Well, he's a druid-esque cleric, but yes, and a bard. And at the same time, or well, somewhat of the same time, after a moment, Yang is acting as if she's tied up and bound, but she's not.
She's just sitting there, arms by her side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I look at the cook and ask with a very accusatory tone, "What did you do?"
Drippy fish. I mean, they glow, they sparkle, they're exotic.
The cook just smiles and he's like, "Don't worry, they'll be fine."
That does not answer my question.
Sit.
I did nothing. These fish have stories on... Okay, look. You didn't grow up as a sailor. We need a little bit of entertainment every now and then. The stories go that these fish can cause minor hallucinations. It's fine. It's not like you guys have an adventurous lifestyle that would make things terrifying.
We do, though.
Well...
I'm scared of basically everything.
It's true.
I mean, thank you for having my back, Silver. It really, really helps. But
And he sort of
Shit.
tilts. He sort of tilts his head at you, which is amusing because he has a hunchback anyway, and he's like, "Well, good thing you somehow resisted the hallucinogens of the fish."
Oh boy.
It just so happens that the only people that were affected by this were the NPC party members.
Yeah.
I am pleased by this.
Don't be
So-
like.
If Cad had somehow failed, would he think that he was capable of flight because of his ears and take off flying into the Great Blue Wonder?
That would have been magnificent. I'm glad that didn't happen.
It would, to clarify, it would have been magnificent in my own head.
No, it just would have been magnificent because that's not something the elephant does every day.
the the element of the hallucinogenics is it kicks whatever sort of emotion you may be feeling at the current time into overdrive and puts you in a situation where that's at the forefront of your mind. Oak was sort of scared and anxious because he's never been on a boat before. He's also worried about where you're going with all the events concerning Dahlia and all this other thing. So he's got high anxiety and fear. So Oak saw his worst fear, undead. And then for Yang is sort of, she's wanting to be helpful. She's wanting to help everyone and keep everyone safe. But for lack of a better way to put it, she sort of feels insecure about that. There's all these times where she was supposed to help in fights, and she didn't really do so great. And she's supposed to be the group's thief, and Locke is a better thief than she is. And she's feeling sort of insecure. I mean, you're the one that Locke picked everything just fine in Ulara's lair.
Right. True enough, I guess. I mean, the thing is, I statted Locke from the start to be able to function as a rogue if need be. It just makes sense for his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
He is our backup rogue.
So that being said, she's feeling sort of insecure and trapped, a la trapped. Her hallucination was she was bound and trapped. But yeah, ultimately it's harmless. It's just a bit terrifying and scary, and anxiety-inducing.
How long does it last?
I am never eating this fucking fish again.
Don't worry, we'll sneak it in another time.
No.
What?
I got a question.
I like
it's lasts for a couple hours. Well, an hour or so actually.
Do we still have the bag of holding?
You do. Silver has it.
I do.
And we determined that putting meat or food in it and it would not perish.
Right.
Like open-ended shelf life. Can I tell the chef that I enjoyed it and request some for the road?
Oh God.
Or seconds, sure. And when he's not paying attention, give it to her to put in the bag of holding.
How much?
Bag of holding.
Sure.
How much?
How many can I acquire?
Roll. If you're the one doing it, roll deception followed by sleight of hand. And is Silver helping?
I mean, I would be asking him, can I have or purchase some?
Purchase not needed.
Like stealing them.
Purchase not needed. A member of your party was one of the ones that helped pointed it out. If you needed a few, he sort of smirks at you and goes, "You think you might have some people you want to mess with? Is that it?"
I would say that I try to hold back a smirk, but I guess a perception check would not be required from him.
No.
Buddy, I don't need a perception check to see your smile.
Nope.
I just sort of roll my eyes back. Well,
it's fine. You can have some, sure. Although you'd have to have a means to keep them fresh, but
I'll figure that out. Thank you. How many do I acquire? And what is name of Trippy Fish?
Just
You-
trippy fish.
I will actually accept the name Trippy Fish. It's better than the name that I had before.
What was the name you had before?
I had like the spelling on it was like some sort of combination of bioluminescence. I wasn't even sure how I'd pronounce it. So Trippy Fish away. It's fine.
And how many do I acquire?
We'll say enough to feed perhaps 3.
Okay.
So if you're wanting to
And
if you're wanting to
go
use it as a kind of a potion sort of a issue-y effect of sorts, then you would have
potion
3
or give somebody a meal or
Yeah.
I don't know. There may be uses. It's interesting.
You
But,
you have
yes.
you have a 3 uses of it then.
Okay. So I think
I just
him.
wrote down 3 trippy fish.
Yep.
hmm So yeah, I've written that, and I want to sort of discreetly get over to Silver and ask her if she will put these in that for safekeeping for me.
Sure. Why are you getting more?
Because they're fun.
Okay.
I just sort of shrugged. Thank you.
Sure.
Also, it's worth noting that the entire reason that CAD actually succeeded on the Constitution did not have a problem was because of Silver.
Yep.
But anyway, so you guys continue after your minor meal, and Oak sort of calms down. He understands the effects of like disease and magic and hallucinations and all that sort of stuff. So he's okay. That
I'm sure he starts like realizing like why is no one freaking out?
yeah, he picks up on like the whole reason Oak's thing was incredibly terrifying, but Oak failing is perfectly fine because his hallucination just shows him images like an illusion of undead, and his passive
And
perception.
someone just like walks through the actual image.
Yeah, his passive perception's so high that he realizes it's an illusion, like maybe 10 or 15 minutes after it's there. So it's messing with his head, and it's messing with his. It's messing with his head, and it's messing with his like emotions. But he's able to sort of calm himself. Although he does stay away from the like open air of the ship for a little while. So that the quote unquote illusions only have one pathway to come and look at him. But anyway, that finishes off. You guys travel, make your way for another couple days. It's getting to be perhaps maybe the 4th or 5th day. You're about halfway into your actually not halfway, you're about close to the end of your trip, because 7 days. So you're on like the 5th day, and as you're getting closer, where do y'all spend the majority of your time on the ship during the day?
I'd probably park Locke on the top deck and just have him like routinely like look down into the water or out at the ocean, just sort of letting his mind wander about the shit they've done so far, and occasionally thinking about Vindsvept and just being reminded about that because water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Silver's towards the back on top deck.
Where's the first mate?
He typically stays. He sort of alternates between him and the captain to sort of man the ship itself. So at the current moment, he's probably next to the ship's like steering. I don't remember what the steering column or steering wheel of the ship. I don't know what it's called on a ship.
Steering wheel.
Steering wheel.
So
Okay,
I would, I guess, sort of shadow the first mate, and if there's anything that they needed done, I would hop to it, go do it, and return.
Why is
I'm
acting like a good doggy?
I'm a first and a half mate.
He sort of looks at you, and then that Locke, who's nearby, and he's like, "Is he always like that?" He sort of sends you down deck to get some like some of the drinks and things. He essentially wants some of the fresh water that's down below deck, but he sort of sends you down to get that rather arbitrarily, and then he's like, "Is he always like that?"
Talking to me.
Yeah.
He's definitely the sort who's usually eager to please. He's a good sort.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it's not bad. It's kind of cool, but it's not really what I've been. It doesn't really match the story of most like Loxodon types. I felt that they were all usually stuck to Caverton. But
well, you'll definitely find a crap load of them there. I can vouch for that. He used to be from there, but he decided to come with us. He had a crappy day job.
Well, at least he's
Wait,
still.
is this by the wheel? Where's
Yeah.
Locke again?
I'm like over here somewhere.
Yeah, so you're a bit further away from the wheel, but the first mate is like right here. So the conversation's loud enough for Silver to theoretically hear. And Oak, but Oak is like over here. Well, I don't know. I guess it's good that you have somebody as helpful and as strong as he is around. Can't say I was always. Sorry, what?
He's definitely saved our butts on at least a few separate occasions, so I can't really argue with that.
Speaking of, if you're the adventurous type, got any cool stories for that? Like what he faced and stuff, like dragons and.
No dragons. We're not quite that epic.
Have we told you about the Tatzelworm yet?
But we have fought dragon kin, I think is the right word. We fought a Tatzelworm and lived.
What in the heck is a Tatzelworm?
Okay, so imagine the most gnarly, angry snake you could think of, and then multiply it by cancer. And I then go about recounting our ordeal with the Tatzelworm, slightly embellishing somewhat.
How it attacked us and Cad did not totally screw up diplomacy.
Yeah, I skip out on that detail. I like embellish it a bit, so it's more like he was not keen on sharing them at first, and like wanted to test us or some shit to ensure that we were like worthy of the scales, and so we had to survive against them for a set amount of time, and we succeeded with flying colors.
Okay. Roll for me just either.
It would be deception.
Is that a performance?
Either I'll let you roll either deception or performance, and get it at
Or
advantage.
charisma.
And get it at advantage because he is sort of lost on your use of cancer as a number.
16. Multiply it by cancer.
He's like, alright then. Well, I've had a few rough moments on deck, and I would say that I'm one of the toughest here, generally. So, your Kaduril friend, I might not be the toughest on board right now. Is that actually in character?
This is out of character because I know Silver Ribbon has like everyone beat.
But anyway,
Oh, you fought a Tatzelworm together as a group? Okay.
Oh, I know. In that regard, she got him beat.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just sort of is chatting with you for a little bit, and he.
Oh, we also fought like a hag.
Yeah, he chats with you a little bit. Cat comes up with his water and other such things, and after a moment, the older woman, human woman that the captain referred to as Ella, she sort of comes up on board on the upper deck and sort of looks at all of you, sort of looking out, and she sort of steps up to Silver and taps her on the shoulder of her armor and is like, "So what's your story anyway?"
My story?
Well, You and your group, or your story, either one, really.
Adventurers, and we're on our way to do adventuring over in
Muzuchad.
Muzuchad.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I mean, come on, you got some fancy armor, and your friend there, the little one, had some crazy magic stuff going on. Come on, there's gotta be some sort of story for you.
What kind of story are you looking for?
I don't know, adventure, like epic combats. She sort of gets like, if this was a
Just talk about this with.
yeah, but she wasn't here at the time. And she also adds
Oh.
something that's totally not something he would care about. And she's like, oh, maybe, I don't know, perhaps a loved one that you've lost, or a loved one that you're fighting for, or I don't know. She has this look on her face like someone who wants to hear a story.
Well, I haven't lost a loved one, per se. I mean, there's been. Some of us has lost people.
I'm sorry. I get a little excited meeting new people. I didn't mean to pry.
No, it's fine. I just don't know exactly what you're looking for.
I don't know. I've not talked to very many adventuring types, so I don't really know what to ask for, I guess. But I like to tell stories. I like to hear stories. Were you the one that
Person that likes to gather stories and tell them. He was slightly annoying and kept following me around.
Well, see, that proves my point. This is why I came to you. You look like someone who would have a story. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
But I mean, were you the one that was up top when the fish were found, right? With Rowan?
Yes, I was the one that made the thud sound.
Yes, I wasn't talking about that part. I was talking about how Rowan is a sort of singer. He likes to sing. He likes to practice at night in the crow's nest, like he was then.
Uh-huh.
As we're on this boat all the time, sometimes for months at a time, we need entertainment. We need something to distract us from just seeing. She sort of gestures out to the endless water. We need something to distract ourselves from the roaring ocean all the time, and for some of us it's music. For Rowan, music, and for me it's stories.
Have you tried the fish?
Is that Cad? Does Cad up there actually asking that? I mean, he could.
No.
I mean, it was just a thought. I thought you might have something to tell.
So one time I was balancing this ledger.
Oh my gosh. But yes, that would be a story totally of Cad. And be like, oh no, they forgot a 3.
And the person was coming by tomorrow to pick it up.
Horrifying.
Alright, so,
Do we actually have that? Just actually start talking about what?
probably not. I believe that was a joke.
Now, I wouldn't say, have you tried the fish? Although that is amusing, I don't think Cad would do that. But if everyone's recounting stories and they're desperate to hear something, well, I could tell them about my most exciting paper pushing moment.
Alright.
Sure, let's start outdoing each other.
You know what? I am almost tempted to ask, because morbid curiosity is taking it. Let us, Cat, enlighten us with a great tale.
Plus, wait. Who can come up with the best story? We have to guess whether or not it's true or fake.
Oh boy.
Or,
That sounds like a game I would absolutely lose a billion times over. I am not imaginative on the spot.
Oh, come on.
It
It can be true or it can be fake.
so, So I want everyone on board to roll me a dexterity save.
Oh
Okay.
boy, okay.
See, I'm actually over here trying to think about some cool-ass story I can tell.
And Cad, what is your thingy for dexterity saves? What does it say? Specifically?
Uncanny sense of when things nearby are not as they should be. So I get an edge to dodge away from danger.
You have to
Advantage.
be able to. You have to be able to see it though.
On things that you could see, such as traps or spells, I cannot be blinded, deafened, or incapacitated.
Okay.
So it would have to be something that would be potentially observable, I imagine.
Yes, it would have to be something observable. In this case, it is not. So no advantage for you.
Okay.
Aw, poor Oak. One dexterity save. Then I'm going to roll some quick modifiers for the other two that's on board. Or the two that's on the upper part of the deck anyway. I won't worry about everybody below.
Quick modifier. Add
Yeah, sure.
137.
Be 19, 7, 7, 13. So pretty much everybody that's above deck except Locke and Cad. There is a moment where there is a sudden. Now the ship wasn't going incredibly fast per se because boats don't travel at a very fast clip. Upwards of like 6 miles an hour is what I figured out eventually, at its best. But there is a lurch and a creak, and because of the nature of you being on a boat and you're riding the waves back and forth, the fact that that movement is obstructed just a little screws you up, and the ship goes from moving at somewhere between 5 and 6 miles an hour over the waves to a dead stop. And there is a very loud, like, wood breaking, creaking sound as the ship comes to a stop.
Oh,
Ah, crap.
what was that? What was that? Ah, shit. Ah.
And the Ella, she sort of falls a little, and she's close to you, and she's somewhat older. She sort of falls against you, and both of you sort of tumble.
That's fine.
And he's like, something must have caught the hole on the bottom of the ship. Molotok, is anybody down there that can take a look? Well, I mean, yes, but...
Well, yes, but actually no.
Well, he's like, of course someone's down there that can take a look. And, yeah, he goes into ordering mode for others that are on board, and no, not Lando, because you guys still appear to be in the water, in the middle of the ocean.
Right. It was a joke, which was going to be followed up with that, but I didn't have a good step lead into it. Join us next time for Land Ho, or Time Release Fish.
Yes.
No.
It's fine. So, I mean, most of you are being the adventuring types. I would imagine that you guys go down to the edge of the hole to see what you can find.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright. So, going down below deck a little bit, the wood on the lower part of the deck has been cracked and pulled loose, and the ship is at a very slow pace because it's not like wrenching into the water or into the boat any. It's just caught it, and because the ship was still moving, it was essentially like a rope that was latched on and was keeping it at bay, and then the ship started to break because the tension wasn't high enough. Roll for me, those that are below deck taking a look. Roll for me perception.
Sure.
Okay.
18.
14. But it smells like an ocean.
9.
9.
9?
9. 9s are good.
14, 14, 14.
Alright then. So, yeah. Silver and everyone but Locke, really. Locke, the way that the waves are moving and everything being obscured in the ocean, you sort of pick up on, and you're sort of paranoid about the fact that the ship is very slowly taking on water.
Oh no.
However, you guys, those that rolled higher, pick up on what it may be strangely that has latched onto the ship and is what it got caught on. It appears to be a rather large, cluster of seaweed and algae that has just latched itself onto the boat.
How big is the hole? The crack or the hole?
The crack in the hull is not very large at all. It's maybe, maybe a foot or two. It's not very large. Water is trickling in at a very a slow pace. Doesn't necessarily seem to be dangerous, at least not at the moment.
Can I go top side of the boat and grab one of the barrels or something that is at least as big as the hole and take it down for use of materials for emergency patching?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yay, do that.
I would like to cast Mage Hand to see if I can move this seaweed. Get it off of the ship so that it stops tugging on shit and breaking things.
Okay. What was the limit on Mage Hand is 5 pounds? I think.
I just click it.
10
pounds. So you could. It takes you a little bit, and it would theoretically be possible. It'd just be somewhat slow. The algae is thick, and it is sort of packed together, so it's hard for you to pull apart. Plus, it feels very strange mentally because you're used to displacing magic, your mage hand displacing air, and it's displacing water, and it's just off.
I would also like to, while I'm doing that, can I also use detect magic to see if the seaweed is magical in any way? Because my bullshit detector is going off something fierce.
Yeah, you can roll detect magic.
That's not.
Or rather, you can do detect magic. There is. What's the range on detect magic?
The range on detect magic. Give me a second. 30 feet, within 30 feet of me.
Okay, yeah. There's no magic. The seaweed appears to be, as far as how you're manipulating it, the seaweed itself appears to be natural, though Locke doesn't know of seaweed doing this naturally. Something has caused it to do something, but it wasn't magic.
I am very angry about this.
Sometimes things that ain't going on are not magical.
Asking, is there anyone nearby me right now?
I ran up deck, so no, I'm not.
Everyone else is below deck, trying to patch up, see what's going on. Oak seems to be looking further into the water to see if he can figure out what's going on. But even with the 12 perception, he doesn't have dark vision, so he can only see so far.
Alright, so after a minute, I will temporarily drop my use of Mage Hand so I can instead use Thaumaturgy and project my voice to everyone else, and loudly declare, something's not right with how the seaweed hit us. Be on alert. And I just kind of alert everyone that something's fucked.
Molotok is down below, and he's like, no kidding. It's usually not up this high and not this densely packed together. Something's caught us. And he's
pull out my sickle that comes with my arcane focus now. Wait, no, I got rid of my sickle. My dagger, I believe, is what I mean.
Yep, you got rid of your sickle currently. He sort of rolls his shoulder. He sort of rolls his shoulder a little bit, and he's like, and anybody capable of swimming, at least halfway decently in your party?
I'm made of fat. I float.
Is that how that works?
It's really hard to sink if you are buoyant.
I think, like, the athletics of the group here can swim.
I mean, not necessarily well, but
Yeah, you don't want me trying to swim. I have an athletics of -2.
right. Anyway, anyone who thinks that they would be capable, we need to go down there and do something about whatever's in the algae. So, I'm going down below deck. Or I'm going. Yeah, he's like, I'm going in the water.
I can keep an eye on things from up here and snipe with magic if it turns out to be something aggressive, but I can't really offer much more than that, I'm afraid.
Right. Do you have any ways to stop water, perhaps? And Oaks,
I returned down carrying the emptiest feeling barrel, having lifted all of them in the area a little bit. Not taking too long, but just a moment. And whichever one felt the lightest or emptiest, I bring the barrel down, because barrel equals wood.
I mean, yes, but I need a way to, short of going back upper deck and then diving down below, well, I guess I can do that. And he just sort of bolts up the steps and...
I am going to go ahead actually and expend a spell slot to summon an unseen servant and instruct him to aid however necessary, however he can, in getting rid of the water, like getting the water out.
Okay.
Like if there's like if someone can bring him a bucket, he is to take that bucket and just start shoveling out water.
Yep.
He can't leave within 30 feet of me though, so I stay, wherever he can be for that.
So you're basically taking the water out, but he's doing it instead of you.
Right. I'm giving him the order to do it because I'm not in a position to. I want to keep an eye on the situation so I can provide support with magic from above if need be. So I'm just letting my servant handle that. I'm multitasking essentially.
Yeah. So what's Silver doing? Molotok went topside, and then there was a sploosh as he went into the water.
There's no way I can start cutting this seaweed, can I?
It's on the outside. Well, you could, but you'd have to find a way to get to it that's on the... That's what he's doing. That's what Molotok's doing. He's just got to get into the water to get to it. And sort of, like, finding a way out at the hole where you guys are, which would theoretically make the hole bigger. I mean, Molotok was kind of hoping that there was a way that you guys could keep the water at bay so he could, like, open up a window or something and then dive in. Granted, the windows are somewhat small, so that doesn't quite work. But
the portholes.
Yeah, so he just went topside and went into the water. If you want to cut the seaweed, that's the tactic you're going to probably have to take.
Sure, let's get one of us in the water then.
My rolls are set.
I don't know where the damaged hull is, but which side it is.
I mean, you have...
Which side is the damage from the seaweeds on?
It was on the far right, at the far end of the ship, like the back of the hull. So it would technically be on the.
Be back up here.
Yeah, on the map it'd be over here.
And she's just gonna come out to the edge and be like, "Well, we're not moving." Jump.
So you sploosh into the water. You have dark vision.
I do.
What's your range on it?
60 feet.
60 feet. You have ribbon sheet, dude. Half-orcs have dark vision?
They should.
I think they do.
They do. They have a 60 feet as well.
Okay, yeah. So you dive on in, and due to what I have attributed and figured out for how dark vision works underwater, you still see. Because most of what water messes you up is due to lack of light. But ocean water is deep. So your 60 feet dark vision goes to 60 feet directly below you, and then it's black.
That's not creepy at all. Okay.
Indeed. Also,
I guess we just go and start trying to cut that seaweed.
Also, as you start trekking your way down, you see that Molotok appears to be extremely at home in the water. He's moving at a decent... He's moving at a decent clip to get down below, and because you have dark vision and can see, roll me perception right quick.
Sure. Nope, that's persuasion. Perception.
18. Nice. So you see him in front of you, and he has removed his like sailor style shirt that he was wearing, and on his back he has a tattoo of a shark.
So what? A bear now a shark?
He has a bear on his shoulder and a shark on his back.
Okay.
And he's whoosh. He's like super at home in the water and whoosh whoosh whoosh. You are much slower, unfortunately.
That's fine.
Roll half athletics to see how well you swim.
So first mate's under the boat repairing it.
He's under the boat getting rid of the seaweed.
Yeah, and I'm supposedly helping.
If you can get there, you're helping.
10.
So you're a little rattled by the sea. It takes you a moment to sort of get your bearings. But
It's kind of difficult with armor.
It is very difficult with armor.
God, I should have taken it off.
So I would like to point out, with the aspect of how 5e wants to make things simple and straightforward, I looked up how water breathing works for a creature that can't breathe underwater, and I found lots of different things with Reddit posts, but I ultimately came to one that I thought made the most sense. You can be underwater for your con score, not your mod, your con score. You can be underwater for your con score rounds. But once you get your bearings and get to where you can move, you can get down there at essentially what would be half your movement speed, which is 30. So you can get to it pretty quickly. Like within, it's not that deep down where the hole is, so you can get to it and start slashing, and you'll have a couple of rounds to try to deal with it.
Okay.
But yeah, you can get down there and start slashing away at it. It's not going to be difficult to hit or to damage. What weapon of yours are you? Well, you have your sword, I guess.
Yeah, just
slashing at it with the crazy sword.
Yeah, without the flame though. So I doubt the flame would work underwater. Just
Nope.
make a whole bunch of bubbles.
Well, actually, your sword is magical, so it would displace the air, but people, like, literally everything you hit with it would have resistance to the damage.
Right, so. Just
oh,
keep
yeah.
rolling damage?
You're not going to be rolling damage, you're just rolling hits, and
Oh.
It's fine. You would technically have disadvantage on it because it's hard to maneuver a sword underwater.
Okay.
Oh,
that's a 12.
Yeah, you're fine. It doesn't take much to hit the algae and stuff. I mean, it's got a
AC 10 to hit the broadside of a barn.
How many times do you want me to roll this at disadvantage?
Nah, you're fine. You're good. I just wanted sort of this initial test of how well you're dealing with it. And you're cutting at it, and you see that Molotok, he's actually not using a weapon of any sort. He's just full on pulling it off of the ship with his bare hands.
All right, tattoo monk.
No, not a tattoo monk.
Not a monk.
Barbarian.
Also, there's a brief moment. It's just instantly there, and then it goes away. It's like the you know, like in some animes and TV shows where there's like this aura about a person momentarily, and then it disappears because it's like it's like when magic or other things are going off. Sort of like the inner Sakura thing from Naruto, or there's just like this random outline of a shark for a minute, and then it disappears as he's pulling at the thing. And because you know how Raging and Barbarian works, he's raging to get rid of the seaweed. And he's pulling it free, and you're doing your thing. I am going to roll for him to see how well he deals with this. He's got it at advantage because he's just pulling it because strength. Yeah, he's good. So he's yanking at it, and you're getting all the algae away and other such things. Roll for me perception.
Another
would, Silver?
perception. Yay.
Yep. Assuming you're not just assuming you're going to try to be aware of your surroundings due to what Locke had said previously.
Yeah, she's gonna. Yeah.
Alright. So, we will go to a only slightly different map. Boop.
Oh, joy.
And Silver, you are like over here in the water.
Yay.
Can I be trying to repair the hole to prevent the water while they're trying to remove the seaweed from the outside?
Yep. So, I mean, that's not necessarily something that you would have to roll for because you found a tool to do so, so it's relatively easy for you to do. And Young is helping you. Young is helping you manage that. Oak, on the other hand, he seems more focused on the. Actually, let me roll for him. But he has disadvantage on it because he cannot see, because he does not have dark vision. Okay, fine. He's helping you. So he's helping you and Yang. You're sort of patching up the ship. Other people from the ship are coming up to do a bunch of the same thing. And as everybody is doing that, the ship starts to fall apart more. However, you've got other people to help, and you're doing fairly decent at keeping the ship from tracking water. It's just still very stuck. And Silver, with your perception of 14, so your dark vision is 60 feet, you said?
Yes.
Arbitrarily? Okay. So you're hacking away at the seaweed and the water, or in the towards the hole to try to break at the seaweed, and you, for a brief moment, you see movement that looks like scales, and was that like a weapon of some kind, like maybe a spear that's off this way?
She like stops and turns around and like kind of looks again. It's just like, huh?
Yeah. I won't make you roll perception again, but looking over towards that little clump of seaweed, it's like a green, teal, blue sort of color because seaweed in the ocean. And there's more seaweed than what I have here on the map. I just didn't want to put a million in one little clumps of seaweed. Got basically a seaweed forest going on here. You see movement, and looking closer over at it, you see movement. You see a weapon that's sort of glinting. Well, not glinting, but a weapon that is in and amongst the seaweed that looks like a spear. Something is hiding in this seaweed over here.
And Silver can't say anything to.
You can't say anything because you can't talk.
Because I'm underwater. Speaking
Yes.
of, how long do I have?
I would say you were hacking away at it for maybe 5 or 6 rounds. So you probably got, and it took you maybe a round to get down here, so 7. You got about 13 rounds left of water.
Okay.
Or air, even.
Or air, rather.
She's gonna actually start swimming this way.
Okay. You're at half speed, by the way. So 15 instead of 30. Oh,
she
yeah.
went 15. Huh.
You did. Good job. Alright. Do you still have your sword out and in front of you and how you're swimming? And
Yes.
kind of hard to be stealthy in water.
She's not being stealthy at all.
Blub really silently.
You're also not that deep down in the water. You're maybe about, since it took you about a round to get to it, it's about 20 feet down into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I just made a reference to a thing that you were talking about previously, Kenneth. It's fine. Meh.
What's fine?
The down, deep down thing that you were talking about with Jacksepticeye?
Oh, deep down, dark, deep down.
Yeah, that. Anyway, you're not that far down. But yeah, it'll take you it, about 60 feet away from where you were previously. So you got about 13 rounds left. It would take you about 4 rounds to get there. Oh, well, you could charge. It'd take you 2 rounds to get there. Or not charge, dash. If you dash underwater...
She's just gonna go forward and kind of look
Okay.
very hesitantly.
Okay. So, there is thing in the water. Here he is.
Oh Lord. Is it a Murloc?
It is a Sahuagin, which is the D&D equivalent of a Murloc. Yeah.
Joy!
Mm-hmm.
And Silver's underwater.
Or underwater. And so is he, but that's fine. So we will start, since I don't want to necessarily get into a combat right at the end here, because that's annoying. And there also might be much more to this combat than just this one little dude. We are going to go ahead and stop it here. Silver's in the water. She can't really talk to tell anybody of what's going on. Molotok
we need to leave a note of how much longer she has, so we can remember for next time.
9.
No.
Wait. You used 1 round to get there. I said you were at 13 previously, so not 9. 12. You have 12 rounds of air.
Okay.
And you're also only 1 round deep. So in theory, you could swim back up if need be.
Okay. I could, but then I would probably lose sight of him.
If he ran off, yes.
What if you do you know the light cantrip?
I believe I do.
Then cast light on some part of him.
Okay.
Or in theory, if you didn't want to lose track of him and you thought he would run off, Hunter's Mark.
Oh, right. Duh.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that.
So, yeah. So we'll get into that. Silver may be fighting off against a Sahuagin or such. Molotok is pulling at seaweed still. Everyone else is still trying to patch up the hole on the inside.
So, yeah, like, Silver's probably, like, next round be like, Hunter's Mark you, and then swim up and be like, help!
And the only person to be above deck to perhaps hear that is going to be Locke, because he happens to be up top as his unseen servant goes up to get rid of the water. Or, well, were you staying below deck or top deck?
Top deck, so I could keep an eye on the situation.
Yeah. So yeah, you would be up top to hear that, as well as the captain would be up top side as well, keeping an eye on his first mate and his new allies and things that have just jumped into the water. I guess I will do the This Has Been Shadows part, and then I will give the next time to Kenneth. I don't know. This has been Shadows of Gradiriel.
Join us next time for a fish fight to the death under an ocean of misery. I don't know.
Sure.